What's up? What's up? Make sure we're actually streaming this time. Yeah, I think we're good this time. I think last stream, I streamed for like maybe 10 minutes without actually starting the stream on YouTube, which is a separate thing you have to do outside of your streaming software or whatever. Yeah, but the goal today is to finish doing the cleanup on the rabbit and to color both of these guys. I gotta figure out what to do with these guys in the background. Now, I think I know what I'm gonna do with them, but I'm gonna handle those guys off stream. So right now, main priority is just getting these two in the foreground. I guess doing this zoom, this camera zoom. All right, maybe I should wait until I got these guys in the background and do the zoom. We'll see. I almost wasn't going to stream today. I had something come up, but then I didn't. So I thought I was going to get to sell some comics, but ended up not doing it. Man, I got so many things going on. I was thinking about that comic. I'm like, man, when am I going to do the next issue of that comic? I thought drawing that comic would be faster than doing animation, but it turns out it's roughly the same amount of time. Every time I hear Zelda music, I think about how I need to finish my Breath of the Wild playthrough. It's like blob of shapes is going to be weird to color. That didn't take super long. I think I said this last stream, but originally he was just going to be stationary. But I thought it looked weird with Alice having this 3-frame loop and him just kind of being a still. Why does it feel like I have less space than usual? Let's see if I can slide this over. That's better. I'm going through all this trouble making these lines boil on this rabbit, but Blender actually has an automatic line boil filter that you can apply. I don't like it though because it's really hard to control to get like the perfect kind of line boil, because when you apply it and it's just on default, it goes insane. It's like too much line boil. It's for people who don't want to sit here and do this. I should probably be wearing glasses for this. I got these like non-photo, like reflective blue glasses that block like the light that comes from computer screens. I forget to wear them though. I think that's another benefit. Oh my god. I'm gonna mute the mic until the dog stops barking. I swear he's quiet all day until it's time for me to stream. I was saying the thing about animating on paper is you're not staring at a glowing screen, and I gotta be like this close to the screen sometimes to work. I never thought my eyes were that messed up, but my wife got glasses, and I just tried them on to see what they look like. And when I tried them on, I was like, uh-oh. I was like, yo, why does everything look extra clear? Like, I think everything is blurrier than I realize. So I'll probably have to get actual glasses at some point, which is a pain. There's a lot of sound in the background happening. The sounds of LA. No, it's actually because I live next to a fire department. It sucks. But you also get used to it. The thing that's weird about grease pencil is it's blobby, like an actual pen. You know, sometimes when you're using a pen, you're trying to get a straight line. That's sort of like that. But like you'll dab the beginning of it with the pen and get like this blob in the beginning. Yeah, ignore how that's shaped. That's not supposed to look like that, but you get what I'm saying. Like using a ballpoint pen or something. Sparks, what's up? Good to see you again. Glad you can make it. I almost canceled this stream because I was going to go do something, but plans on that changed. So I was like, stream, reinitiate. About how long would you say it takes you to complete a scene? If it's not too crazy, maybe about a day, maybe like between 1 and 3 days. If it's like a fight scene or something with a lot of movement, it could be around a week. But most like standard scenes take about a day. Unless I get stuck on something. Like if it's just like a close-up with a talking mouth, I could do that in a few hours. I also work a little bit slower in Blender than I do in Flash. Because if I move too fast in Blender, I'll accidentally do Flash shortcuts. And I've noticed doing Flash shortcuts makes the whole program crash. Something about that. So I have to be like really intentional with what shortcuts I'm pushing on this side. Like when I'm rotating the canvas and stuff. What moved me to create my own animations? Man, I wanted to be an animator ever since I was a little kid. Like I was always drawing and watching cartoons, and I grew up watching a lot of Looney Tunes, and they would show like Looney Tunes marathons on cable TV. And what they would have a special marathon for Bugs Bunny's birthday. And they would have like archival footage of all the animators working in the studio, and it was all in black and white. And that's sort of when I realized that like actual people do this as like a job. When I was like, I don't even know. Like it's been a thing I've always been into. And once I saw that like people, like actual human beings were like doing this as a job, I was just like, well, that's what I want to do. And I've just been obsessed with it ever since. Looney Tunes was life, yeah. What's funny is like I was watching this in the '90s, and they would show this archival footage, and I thought that they were still there, like in on the lot, like still drawing and stuff, and it was like footage from the '40s and '30s with like Chuck Jones and stuff. Yeah, ever since elementary school, I just decided that's what I wanted to do, and I always drew comics. And before we had access to basically like an animation studio in a box, the process was always this like complex mystery I was always trying to figure out. So I would do a lot of comics and make flip books. I also had this game on Super Nintendo called Mario Paint, where it gave you like a mouse to draw directly on the Super Nintendo, and I made a lot of stuff on that. That was like my proto Photoshop days, I guess. But I figured out you could record Mario Paint on a VHS and like pause it and have it cut to different scenes. So I would make weird movies and stuff. Yeah, I've always had ideas for the next cartoon and wanted to so badly create my own Saturday morning cartoon. Yeah, me too. Saturday morning cartoons were like my thing. That's my whole influence, I think. Like I was always into the idea of like the openings for Saturday morning cartoons and how they're like the animation is always better than the actual animation in the show, but it would get you kind of pumped up to watch the show. That's really the thing I like about anime now, is because they kind of took that whole aesthetic and did their own thing with it. And it took me a while to get into anime like that. Like I watched some stuff that came on Sci-Fi Channel. They used to have like a Saturday morning anime block. Saturday Anime, I think it was called. So I saw like Vampire Hunter D and a bunch of stuff I wasn't supposed to be watching. And that was kind of crazy. And I had some friends in high school bring me a VHS tape once, and it had Project A-ko on it. It had 8-Man After, and then something else on it. And that was like really my first introduction to anime. And it's like, of course, I was watching Dragon Ball Z. That went way faster than I thought it would. Yo, that is so loud. That's crazy. Like, how many fires are there right now? I think I was also really into MTV animation. When I was in college, I thought that's where I would end up working. But by the time I graduated, MTV animation wasn't a thing anymore. Like, I used to watch Liquid Television and the Max. I think that whole vibe of animation was a big influence on me. And it took me a while to sort of get into animation. I mean, into anime, because, like I think I said this before, I liked the way it looked, but I wasn't like super into everything I saw, story-wise. And so there was this point in time where, like, you had Blockbuster Video and you had Hollywood Video, and Hollywood Video started doing this thing where you could rent like 5 movies for 5 days for cheap or something like that. And so me and my mother would go, and she would pick like, I think she would pick 2 movies and I would pick 2 movies, and then like we would just agree on like what the 5th movie would be. And I had a VCR in my room, so I would go to the anime aisle, and it was just like one shelf with like a wall of stuff, and I kind of would just randomly pick something. So when I started out, I started with what I knew. So I picked like Street Fighter and like Street Fighter 2V and a lot of video game based animes. Like I picked like Samurai Showdown and stuff like that. Fatal Fury. There was like a Battle Arena Toshinden movie. And so I went through all the video game stuff, and I was like, it's pretty hit or miss. I either like really liked it, or I was kind of like, ugh. Like I remember I really didn't like the Samurai Showdown movie. And later come to find out it's because it was censored, and they like edited out a bunch of stuff. And so I was kind of just going, like every time we would come back, I was kind of just going shelf by shelf and trying to decide if I was going to pick something. And so I saw Ninja Scroll there like a lot of times, and I would pick it up and look at it, and I was kind of like, I don't know, man, Ninja Scroll, because like you don't want to waste your rental. Like that's how it was back then. You don't want to waste your rental on something that's not good. And so like the video game based movies were a pretty safe gamble. And once that ran out, I was like, well, let me check out this Ninja Scroll movie. And Ninja Scroll was like the first anime that like got me hooked, where I was like, I have to see more. And I was definitely way too young to have seen Ninja Scroll. Yeah, DBZ was the start for me. Favorite DBZ character? Man, I think it's Vegeta. I really like Vegeta. I like him. I like his arc from like the beginning, being a bad guy, and then becoming like a family man. I think it's really funny. It's hard though, because I like Piccolo also. Everybody likes Piccolo. Yeah, Piccolo. Like I feel like Piccolo is a given. Because the thing about Vegeta is like, he's cool, but he loses like every fight. He won like 2 fights out the whole series. Tried going the old-fashioned route, art school, picked up by a studio, show my pitch Bible, create my first cartoon. Then I learned about J.G. Quintel's story and his nepotism. Yeah, that's pretty much the same thing I thought I was gonna do. Like I went to art school and I majored in animation, and the whole pipeline was like, you go to animation school and then you get a job somewhere and you work somewhere for like 10 years, and then they let you pitch a show, and then you get your show. But everything kind of changed. Should probably color the rabbit first. Plus, when I was going to school, it was a different time. It was like 3D was still kind of new. I think The Incredibles was like the hottest like 3D thing that came out, the first Incredibles, and Corpse Bride was like a big deal. But 2D was still like kind of a big thing. Is because Akira Toriyama didn't like him. They do him dirty. Even in the movies, he'll have like a dramatic entrance and then get bodied in the next 6 seconds. Whereas Piccolo has held his own against like almost every major villain. Yeah, Dragon Ball Z was crazy. Alright, I gotta do these colors. You know what else I used to watch though? I used to watch Ronin Warriors before we were calling anime. Like I kind of didn't know what I was watching. I don't remember what, it had to be in the 90s. I was on summer vacation and it would come on at 9 a.m. It would come on at 9 a.m. on weekdays. I feel like there has to be a way to transfer these colors from file to file where I don't have to sit here and do this every single shot. I'll look into that at some point. You know the thing that used to drive me crazy about Dragon Ball Z is they would get to a point where they didn't have any new episodes, so they would just rerun it. And so you would I think like halfway in the middle of the Frieza arc, it would just start completely over. They wouldn't have any new episodes. And you'd be like, oh, come on. Before Cartoon Network got it. Once Cartoon Network picked it up, I didn't know how to act, man. I was like, we get to watch Dragon Ball Z every day. They would always go back to the Tree of Might. I would get so mad. You think you're gonna watch a new episode, and you see them at the Tree of Might. You know, you gotta wait like 45 episodes to see if there's gonna be new ones. But yeah, I was talking about Ninja Scroll. Ninja Scroll was the first time I had seen something where I was like, animation could do anything. Like, obviously there was like the crazy graphic content of it. But I just also think it was like, I'd never seen anything like that animated before. Like, I remember I was watching it in my room and I had to run and go turn it down real quick on like the old school TV, where you gotta like run to the TV and turn the volume down real quick because it was getting kind of risque. I was like, I cannot have my mother come in here and stop this. So I remember being confused in the beginning because there was so much coming to the US of later seasons and we're stuck on Frieza Saga. Yeah, that's right. I did watch a bunch of like bootleg stuff that had no context and no subtitles. I had a friend who had a disc of files that played on Real One Player, if you remember that. And it was like some of the Buu Saga and then like some of the movies that never got released with no subtitles. So you just watch them with no context. That was the first time I saw Gohan fighting Buu. And I was like, how come he's not Super Saiyan? I still gotta watch Dragon Ball Daiba. Even though the internet has like completely spoiled it for me, but I'm still gonna watch it at some point. I can't be mad at new Dragon Ball coming out. Like, I don't care that they get turned to kids. Give me new Dragon Ball. I'll take what I can get. I'm like, y'all didn't have to suffer through the drought where there was just like no. Are you gonna bark? Don't bark on the stream. Shh, don't bark. Hold on, I might have to mute the mic for a second. Okay, I think he's done. Oh no, wait. I had to tell this dude to stop barking. He's looking at me like I'm crazy. Like, it's so loud. I can't imagine what that sounds like on the stream. Akira used to give me nightmares as a kid. I had never seen anything like that before. A huge transformation from what was previously used to. I saw Akira on Sci-Fi Channel, but I think it was pretty edited. But I remember at the time not really understanding like what was happening. It's one of those movies where I went back and watched it later with my adult brain, and I was like, wow, I had no idea what was happening in this movie. I don't know if you can see this guy. Yeah, no more barking. Now, but I was saying, I'll take any new Dragon Ball Z content, Dragon Ball related content. Because I'm like, people haven't lived through the drought of not having any new content after GT for like years and years. GT is one of those things where I really want to like it more than I do. I keep going back to it, like maybe I need to just watch it again. But they make a lot of weird choices in that. And like not just Goku being a kid, but like the weird mustache Vegeta, like what was that about? I didn't like the character designs in GT. You couldn't stand GT. And I realize I haven't seen it all the way through, now that I think about it. I've only seen up to some of the baby arc. Because I was kind of into it when it was just Goku, Pan, and Trunks just like looking for Dragon Balls. I was like, this is fine. But then they kind of ditched that after a while. I don't like the idea of just bringing dead villains back. I thought that was kind of whack. I didn't like the idea of Super 17 because I was like, we already saw 17. Like, I want new villains. Goku does everything. I miss when everyone had a moment to shine, even Krillin. Yeah, that was another thing. So I remember Oob. We were really excited about Oob. Because we were like, yo, we got a brown Dragon Ball Z character. But they don't do nothing with him. They hype up Oob so much, and they don't do nothing with him. I have seen the fight. I think he fights Majin Buu for like 2 seconds. Not Majin Buu. He fights Baby for 2 seconds and like doesn't do nothing. They don't do nothing with him. Really, he should be the protagonist. They kind of hyped him up at the end of Z, and then like you almost forget he's even in the show. I didn't mind Dragon Ball Super too much either. Even though in the beginning it had like really wonky animation. But we found out it's because they had like a week to do each episode. But even back then I was like, hey, it's new Dragon Ball. I don't care. I think we're at a point now where there's probably never not going to be Dragon Ball. But at the time, I was like, I'll take what I can get. And what I need to do is go back and watch Dragon Ball, the OG Dragon Ball. I've read the first volume of the manga, but I've seen clips from the anime where it like almost looks like Z. And I'm like, I've never seen this before. Like when he's fighting Piccolo at the World Tournament, I've never actually seen that. So I'm like, oh, at some point I need to watch that. Back when they were doing actual martial arts. You have any more ideas like for different series? Do I? That's my problem. I have too many ideas. I have this idea for a superhero thing I want to do. I actually switched from doing it because it was like so similar. Like you ever make something and then an anime comes out and it's like exactly your story, except it's an anime, so it's on a higher scale. So I was doing the superhero thing, and the My Hero Academia came out the first season, and I was like, that's my idea. They're doing my idea. So I kind of went back to the drawing board and rewrote it. But I've kind of been sitting on it. It's about this girl who gets superpowers, and she's kind of a comic book nerd. So she just becomes a superhero just because she has powers, and not necessarily because she has some like grand purpose or like some big lore. She just thinks it's cool to be a superhero. Because there's basically like this event that gives everybody in this like random people in this one in this one city superpowers, and everybody else is sort of like causing crime and stealing things, and she's the only person who decides to be a superhero, but she's so like she's not doing it to actually help people, she's just doing it to look cool. So she's not really being a superhero for real. So the whole story is her making the transition from like pretending to be a superhero as a person with powers to actually like becoming a superhero and defending the city. And it's a thing, I was gonna do it as a comic book, but the more I think about it, I might animate it. I was so mad when I saw My Hero Academia, because specifically the first season, it kind of branches off from my idea. Craig of the Creek stole your idea. That's another thing. I feel like I gotta make stuff before somebody else makes it. So I'm like, no, that's my idea. They beat me to it. I forgot to get the colors for the sword. I actually did a like a pilot comic for that superhero thing. I think it's on Webtoons. It's like a vertical scrolling comic. I did it so long ago I forgot about it. Once had a comic based in the world of Yu Yu Hakusho. That's pretty dope. That's a show I gotta go back and finish. That's one of those shows that's really, like, I know it's really good, but I haven't watched all of it yet for some reason. I've watched it on Cartoon Network a little bit, but not enough. I feel like something else came out too where I was like, my idea. I don't remember though. But it always happens. I hate that I can't just eye drop directly from this, unless I can, and I don't know how to do it. Instead of spirit detectives, I created a SWAT-like division. That's cool. That's actually a good idea. I've got so many ideas though. It's like I got so many ideas and not enough lifespan to do all of them. Like I have this idea for like a vampire thing that I was gonna do a long time ago. Yeah, right. I have this idea for a children's comic about about a mummy. Almost don't want to. I don't want to say too much about too many of my ideas, because they might be listening. They. Right. Because I've definitely like talked about doing something and then like seen the exact same thing I was talking about, almost word for word on TV, and been like, yo, I gotta find out where the hidden tape recorder is, because they're tapped in and they're taking my ideas. So I had a Scooby-Doo type idea. 5 kids who solve spooky mysteries involving urban legends. Each kid battles with a sports-related item. That's cool. I'm gonna have to go back and mess with this shoe to see how it overlaps. Also, this disappearing line is kind of a problem. Well, I'll come back and fix that. Thank you. You know what? One thing I didn't think to talk about was how much I was influenced by the Batman animated series. How much black they use. There was a point where the Superman cartoon came out, so they redesigned all the Batman characters with like this kind of sleeker designs. And sort of the look of that show was a big influence on me. And I remember I read an article where somebody who worked on that show, it might have been Bruce Timm, I don't remember who it was specifically, but they were talking about how in American animation they're really afraid to just have solid black on things. And that was one of the first shows where they just would like do solid black on the characters. And they had a lot of rules where like like if Batman's hand was solid black and it was up against something else that was black, you couldn't hold it against it. It had to be like passing it so it would still read and stuff like that. And they had TMS doing the animation, Tokyo Movie Shinsha, I think that stands for, the studio, the anime studio, the Japanese anime studio that was doing the animation. And so just the way that show looked and how it moved was a big influence. Especially that Batman Superman movie. I remember when I saw that and I was like, yo. You ever think about going back or remastering your old stuff? You know what, I've thought about going back and like remaking old stuff. Or old ideas I came up with. Definitely. I think that's a good idea, actually. Because it's like enough time goes by where you can sort of come at it from a different perspective. Like, I think a lot about Chris Slash. I don't know, like, how long you've been on my channel, if you're familiar with that, but I did those first 2 episodes, like, 7 years ago or something like that. I think about just remaking that from scratch. Oh, you do? Okay. There's actually the comic I was talking about earlier that I do is a prequel to Chris Slash. When I was younger, I drew a lot of comics. They were in black and white. I go back and color and correct parts of my drawing. I don't have any of my comics from when I was like in school. It's either I either gave them away to people or I let them borrow them and they never gave them back. I used to make a lot of crazy comics that were really Ren and Stimpy inspired. Just a bunch of madness happening and like gross out humor because I thought that was hilarious at the time. It's interesting to think about though, because I made so many of those books. I used to fill up a spiral notebook, and I had like a big stack of them back in the day. They're probably just floating around the earth in somebody's closet or something. But you still got yours? Like, I know I gave a couple of them away, but I think the other ones got stolen. Which is crazy to think about. Like, I guess it's low-key flattering. Like, you like my work enough from middle school to steal it, but... You know what's a crazy idea I had back in the day? I'll probably never do it now. When I was in college, I had this idea for a cartoon called Froblade, where this dude with an afro would like pull his pick out of his hair, and it would be like a sword when it comes out. And it was like a girl was sent from the future, and she gave him this afro pick because nobody in the future has hair. And it was like your hair is your literal power. So like the bigger your hair was, the more like that was like your power level and stuff. And so it was about this kid who like picked up the pick and then like started using it, and then like when you pick your hair with it, it powers the sword, and then he would put the sword in his hair and pull it out and then fight monsters from the future. That's actually now that I'm repeating it, it's actually a dope idea. And I might have to go back and develop that. But that was like a thing me and my friends were trying to do when we were in college. But the thing about college, though, is like you have all these ideas and not really enough skill to execute everything you're trying to do. So it's like we planned all this stuff, but we really didn't produce anything. But I remember I drew the sequence of how he takes the sword out of his hair, because it's one of the Black Power Fist Afro picks, and so when he would grab it, the fist would open up into like a big claw, and he would take it out, and it would be like a big electric sword. It was really Kingdom Hearts inspired. It was like Kingdom Hearts and Fully Cooley inspired. That would definitely be something I would go back and remix. So I have the sketches for that in here somewhere. In middle school, when I watched animated, I used to get so annoyed at the nosebleed trope. Yeah, I don't like that either. There's a bunch of things I don't do. I don't like when they go super deformed. Like I'll have them be cartoony and have cartoony reactions, but I don't like the like chibi sort of like reactions and stuff. So I'm like, what's the explanation behind the nosebleed? Is it like they're supposed to be so hot that they're like boiling over like a pot or something, and it's like I don't know. I never got that. They get the nosebleed and then they fly away into the background like, oh. Part of the reason I don't like it is just because it looks kind of nasty. Missed a sword. Oh, the rabbit is covering up a bunch of her foot. I might be okay. I might put some kind of glow effect on her sword. I don't know if you can see I think my screen is covering it, but the rabbit is smoking. I'm obsessed with having cartoon characters smoke because I kind of grew up on, like I said, I grew up on Looney Tunes, so everybody was like smoking cigars and stuff. And then I worked this job where we had to make a lot of corporate cartoons. And because it was corporate, it's like the equivalent of making like a show for babies. Like you're not allowed to do anything, even though it's like adults. And it's supposed to be dramatic. So we would have like episodes where like dramatic things are happening to adults, but I can't have anybody like swirling a glass of like bourbon or like smoking a cigarette or anything. And I used to be like, man, as soon as I get to do my own thing, I'm gonna have like some character smoking. Any tunes is my go-to art style. I think also I would do like certain character designs where I'm like, I feel like this character would be smoking a cigarette. They wouldn't let me do it though. That same corporate job I was just talking about, we weren't allowed to show any cigarettes, but I drew a couple guns in that series, which I think is funny. It's like you can show all the violence you want, but no smoking or drinking. Where do I go for voice acting? It's been a while since I've needed voice actors, but back in the day, I would go. There was a forum called the Voice Acting Alliance, I think, where if you just needed somebody to like do voice work for you, you had to make a post and then basically like post an audition with like a pre-made script, so you can audition people. And then the other one was that was the Voice Acting Alliance. And I think the other one was just called the Voice Actors Forum or something like that. And it was the same deal. Also, Newgrounds. Newgrounds is a good place for that. Yeah. Forgot his nose. I've also seen there's a lot of voice actors on on TikTok. I think if you just do a search, you can find them on there too. Yeah, I've had a couple like contact me on there. And because it's TikTok, they'll have like videos of all the voices they've done and stuff. Is all that screaming this track? Okay, it is. I was like, is something happening? That crowd noise? I still gotta do the ground. Why did it just do it on that one weird frame? There we go. Like, am I crazy or did I miss a spot on this leg? I don't think anybody's gonna see that. Oh, I do see a point where I missed a spot on her shoe. What frame is that? Third frame. Oh, I know what I did. That's better. Okay, so I'm going to add the zoom after I figure out what to do with the background. So not gonna lie, the backgrounds for animation scare me. They can be intimidating. They're not so bad though. My approach to them is to sort of try to do them in the same style as the animation, and not necessarily trying to emulate anime. Because the problem with anime is they're so detailed and they're almost photorealistic when they paint them, or they're using 3D. And I just try to think of them like, you know, you're not drawing photorealistic characters, so I kind of take the same approach with the backgrounds. Am I crazy or is this not showing up? Oh, you know what it is? That's what it is, okay. Trying to make it so this looks good on both of them. This really lazy rim light. Yeah, I think the key to backgrounds is just, well, using reference, definitely, but not trying to 100% imitate real life and sort of just have it match the style of your characters. You know what? Actually, I have a video on my YouTube channel about making backgrounds. It's like it's like a walkthrough thing. So I made like a longer version on my Patreon where it's me actually drawing a background, but the YouTube version is like edited down, so it doesn't take that long. I forget how long the uncut version is. So how long have we been going? Almost 2 hours. I think I'm gonna stop right here. I think I'm gonna try to do the highlight on her sword off stream. And then once I design these dudes in the background, I'll come back and finish this shot, and that'll probably be the sky behind them with like clouds. I might just make it a solid color. I don't know, I gotta mess with it. It's like that sometimes. Sometimes I know exactly what I want to do, and then sometimes I'm just like, I'll figure it out. It's probably gonna be the sky behind them. Alright, I think that's it for me. I appreciate you hanging out and watching me redraw the same image 3 times over and over again. I almost canceled the stream tonight. I'm glad I didn't. So yeah, I will be back on Tuesday. And usually I try to stream around 6:30, 7:30, in between those times. So no, don't go. You're too late, man. I just finished. I just finished what I was doing. What's up, Thuggy MC Battle? Come back on Tuesday. Yeah, I got more stuff to figure out with this shot, so I will be back. But before I go, what's going on, man? Thanks for dropping in. You'll be back? Okay. I have to like drink some water because I'm getting parched. Talking nonstop. But yeah, also you can watch this when it posts on YouTube. If you're inclined to do that. Not much is working all the damn time. Yeah, I hear that. I actually had like kind of a lull in my freelance so I could work on my own stuff for a little bit. But it's already like about to start picking back up, so I don't know how long it's gonna last. So I'm just trying to get as much done as I can, but I'm still gonna try to stream twice a week. I think that's been good. It's good to like not be 100% isolated while I do all this. I realized I was becoming a hermit. But yeah, I'm sorry. That's the stream. You caught me at the last second. I was just about to like sign off. Got to set a reminder to catch me on Tuesday. The time difference throws you off. That's right. Because if I stream at like 7:30, it's like 10. What is it? 9:30, 10 o'clock for you? So it's probably 9, 10, 11. What is it? 12:24 right now for you? Or is my math crazy? They don't pay me for the math. Oh, you're 2 hours ahead. Okay, that's not bad. Well, man, I'll see you around. I appreciate you hopping in, though. I'll catch you at the next one.